Yeehaw! It's time for the Texans Squad. Everything Houston Texans, every week. Bringing you the big hits, game-changing plays, and all the action straight from the Lone Star State. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Saddle up and squad up. It's the Texans Squad Show, starting now.
Hold on a second, guys. I'm trying to figure out how to get the jaw off my floor because the Houston Texans just pulled off the most miraculous comeback maybe in the history of the franchise in a regular season game or in a game period today, as they score, 26 points in the fourth quarter to beat the Jaguars 36-29 in a win that they absolutely had to have in every single way that you can imagine. They get it today. Michael Connor, former Texans offensive lineman Wade Smith, and Stan Norfleet, we're with you here post-game, breaking it all down, guys. We'll start right there. Is this the kind of thing that they needed to save the season at this point?
No question about it. That was a must-win ball game for the Houston Texans. Going into it, you're going against a division opponent that already has beaten you this year. You know, losing AFC games when you're talking about the fact that the Colts are going to run away, it looks like, with the division. They won again in overtime this morning. Like, you had to have that game so that you can deal with tiebreakers later down the road when you're trying to get that wild card spot. And so losing to a division opponent and also losing to another AFC team, of course, that just puts you so far behind the eight ball that it was not realistic at all to be able to get yourself into the big dance at the end. And so for the way that it looked, it was doom and gloom. It was not looking good the way it was going. For them to pull this game out, and this is not, this is not recency bias over there, but to me, that's the biggest game that the Texans have played and came out with a W that I can remember. I don't remember any other games like this where the team was down so much. It was such a significant factor in what was going to go on for the rest of the season. They saved the day with a bunch of plays made by the offense, a bunch of plays made by the defense. Guys stepped up and made plays all over the place. And Davis Mills, he bought himself another 5 years in the NFL. No question about it. Like, when you have a backup quarterback come in and play well, you just add another 5 years to their career. And this was what the day was for Davis Mills, and it saved the season for the Texans.
I think they had to have it. It was the definition of a must-win game, no question about that. The Texans have now given themselves another chance. We were talking on the pre-show. NFL is a week-to-week proposition, man, and the Texans have bought themselves equity in another week of being relevant. We know the seats were empty in there today, and I understand why they were empty today. This team, and most specifically that offense, has not given this franchise and this city a lot to be proud of. However, with Davis Mills, and I want to say this because we talked about it last week, MC and I kind of got into it. Davis Mills was capable of doing this last week. So when I talked about how inept the offense looked last week, I was saying he's capable of doing this. And again, with a week to prepare, knowing that he's going to be the guy, I get it. They got down in the red zone and was able to cash in finally. There were still some things, and we'll go through the nuances of the game. But D'Amico now knows, and that team knows, that even without CJ, if that defense playing like that, special teams being lights out again, they have a chance every week if the offense can give them something. And the offense did it today.
I think about what's ahead for this football team and the fact that now you have the ability, because next week you're going to play the Titans, to be 5-5 before you go into the gauntlet that's ahead after that. There's still issues there, right? But they found a way to overcome the issues. What does that say about – I know we have a lot of questions about this and that and everything, but what does it say when you're able to overcome all the noise, all the issues that are going on in a game and find a win like this today, Wade?
It speaks to the character of the guys, the character of the people that are within the organization, the coaches on the team. Nobody gave up. It was very easy for you to look at the situation going into the fourth quarter and say, hey, this is just not our day. But they kept plugging away. They kept fighting. Guys continued to make plays. Danielle Hunter had a hell of a game. Just kept getting after the quarterback. It was very, very, I wouldn't say rewarding is the word. It's more like it lets you know that whatever is being spoken about within those walls, whatever is being said within those walls, guys have not checked out. Guys still believe. They believe in themselves. They believe in one another, and they were able to get it done. And if you're able to get it done in a situation like this, what does that do for you going forward? How much confidence does that give you as an offensive player? I mean, there's so many guys that were in that game that made plays that weren't their normal guys. Your whole right side is not in the ball game. Your starting quarterback is not in the ball game. They had guys out on defense as well. They were able to figure out a way to get it done, and that you hope that propels you and pays dividends for the rest of this year.
Yeah, I think I saw a conscious effort to get Nico Collins the football. So now they know when you force feed Nico Wade, good things are going to happen. I saw some explosive runs by Woody Marks. I saw, and I'm going to look at the numbers. I think I saw Nick Chubb had a healthy average, if I can get to my phone. What did Nick Chubb do? I think Nick Chubb, yeah, so you got 19 carries by Woody and Chubb, 9.4 by Chubb, 4.5 by Woody. That keeps them on track, right? That's the game plan. And then when you're able to cash in down there in the red area, you force feed Nico Collins. We talked last week. They didn't get Jalen Noel didn't get any targets. 4 catches for Noel on the day, 5 for Higgins. Dalton Schultz, loved what he did in the back of the end zone, tightrope in there. Dalton Schultz, quietly, he's going to get some Pro Bowl votes. He may not make it, but he's definitely going to get some votes. I have not seen what everybody else at the position is doing across the rest of the AFC, per se. But it all came together, and it was good enough today. And what I'm most proud of is the doggedness, the determination, down 19 points in the second half. And really that offense, guys, they outscored Jacksonville 26-0. We know we get the Sheldon Rankins touchdown right there at the end to make it, but that's still 3 possessions without the Rankins score. To outscore Jacksonville by 3 possessions in the fourth quarter alone, I thought was outstanding, and that speaks to the character of this football team led by DeMeco Ryans.
And I know, Wade, for you specifically, you love these wins against Jacksonville. It would be hard to stomach losing 2 to Jacksonville this year. I know Wade hates the Jags and the Titans.
No question about it. So back-to-back weeks, I need those W's. You know, the rest of my day doesn't go well if I have to walk around realizing that my Texans lost to either Tennessee or Jacksonville. So getting that dub felt really good. You know what else felt really good was the fact that the Texans took the ball from the 7-yard line and went 93 yards, took up basically the rest of the fourth quarter and scored a touchdown to win the game. And of all things, Davis Mills runs the ball 14 yards to get the game touchdown after having 2 false starts to back you up. I
almost went crazy. I almost threw my phone. I was like, what are we doing?
And on the first play, they scored a touchdown. Inside the 2-yard line, hand the ball out, he scores. It's a false start. I'm like, yo, what are we doing?
You know what it had? Wade? It had a little bit of TJ Yates vibe, that run against the Bengals.
Yeah. And when you do that for the rest of your life, this city will love you. The city loves TJ Yates. Like I said, this is not a playoff clinching win, but it kept the season alive. The season is going to be over if you lose this ball game. And so for him to bring the team back, make the throws he needed to make, use his legs to make the run and score the way he did. Like I said, there's a lot of people that are going to be fond of Davis Mills for years and years to come. They'll never forget this. If you were at the game and you watched the game, this, they talk about core memories. Like, this is something that people will hold on to and never forget, because everything looked like the season was over. And when you have that feeling of thinking that all is lost and what is going to be the point going forward, and you go from that to the elation of coming out with a big-ass win against a division opponent at home, like, people will never forget this. And so shout out to Davis Mills. He made the plays he needed to make. And guys were making plays all over the field. Woody Marks, they ran the ball at will on that final drive. They were getting 5, 7, 8 yards a pop with those handoffs during that drive. And it milked the clock to where it didn't give Jacksonville much of an opportunity to try to come back and win the game at the end. And so that clock management aspect, they did a great job of that. And that's something that, people have complained about and struggled. They struggled with, over the past few years. So for them to do that, I thought they did a good job.
Wade, I did have an issue with those false starts. We talked about the penalties, but then also D'Amico Ryans having to use those 2 timeouts to prevent the delay of game. It could have bit them in the butt later, but they end up coming out on the right side. Davis and that offense, they got to get that play in. Kaylee's got to get the play in to Davis, and Davis understands he's had enough NFL starts. We got to get out the huddle, baby, especially in those crucial moments like that. You can't afford to be going getting those delay of game penalties in that situation. I want to also add, how about this? If I'd have told you coming into this ballgame, Davis Mills is going to throw the ball 45 times, I would have not believed that they were going to win the game. I was like, no, the Texans aren't winning if Davis has to throw the ball 45 times. But nonetheless, for 27 completions, 292 yards, 2 tugs, 1 pick, passer rating of 84.7. Wade pontificated on what he was able to do with his legs. Davis Mills, by backup standards, played a good football game today, period. And that's why, to Wade's point, they keep extending him and giving him money. He saved the bacon. It was enough today, and that's all that matters.
A little less heat for Nick Caserio today, too.
A little bit less.
A little bit less.
And I know we need to pivot, but I want to ask you all about this. How about continuing to rotate up and down the offensive line? Jared Patterson is in at left guard. Then Blake Fish is in. Trent Brown gets a start today. Like, they just rolling dudes through that offensive line, and by and large, they mitigated the pass rush of the Jacksonville Jaguars, though Davis Mills was sacked twice. But it wasn't how Josh Hines-Allen dominated in that first game at Jacksonville. We didn't see that today, even with the cast of characters rolling through that line.
Yeah, I thought they did. I thought the offensive line did what they needed to do. Like you said, there was issues early on in the game, but then for the most part, they started cleaning those things up, and they gave Davis Mills time to operate. I thought he did a good job of spreading the ball around to his various receivers and running backs out the backfield. Tight end, of course, Dalton Schultz. They were able to make the plays they needed to make when it was time to make them. And listen, you scored 26 straight points and 19 of those on offense. You were doing some things the right way. And like I said, they made a lot of plays, and the offensive line gave running lanes for majority of the game. And for them to do that with you're not with your top guys. Your top guys are on the sideline watching the game. And like you said, there's multiple guys rotating through the lineup. You gotta give them credit. They were able to perform at the level that they need to perform. Now, would you love it if they could settle on 5 guys and get everybody healthy and then have them be consistent and play at the level to where now you can know what you're getting week in and week out? That's the ideal situation. But the way the league works, you got to figure out a way to win ball games. And that's what the Texans did today. They figured out a way to win ball games. And early on in the game, they were figuring out a way to lose the game. You get a special teams touchdown against you. You're getting penalties on Stingley. Defense is giving up scores. There was things that were happening that just don't happen. You don't get PIs against Stingley, but it was legit. You don't get punt returns for touchdowns and terrible special teams play in the return game. You had that happen early game, but you know what? They were able to overcome that. And so salute to them guys getting it done. It was absolutely necessary. And now next week you have opportunity to get to 500.
Back to 500, and we got a lot more to get to throughout this show about what went on the field today. More on Money Mills, of course. That's what he is today. He's Money Mills. All the guys that stepped up. I also want to ask you guys about Nick Cayley, who, of course, is always a hot-button topic, and what you thought of what he did today as an offensive coordinator. We're going to get through all of it before the end of the show right here on the Locked On Texans Squad Show.
I'm Cody Rourke from Locked On Broncos, and this episode is brought to you by Peloton. Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton Cross-Training Tread Plus, powered by Peloton IQ. This is Peloton's most advanced equipment yet, giving you real-time guidance and endless ways to move, whether you're running, lifting, or you're cross-training with your favorite instructors like Alex Toussaint. It's training reimagined to make your workout more personal. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with features that help you plan, stay motivated, and hit peak performance. You can let yourself run, lift, flex, and go, while Peloton handles all the rest. Plus, Peloton IQ provides real-time strength coaching, tracking your progress and suggesting weights that challenge you so you can get stronger. Plus, the new movement tracking camera, it counts your reps and corrects your form in real time, making sure every rep is safer and smarter. So let yourself run, lift, flex, push, and go. Explore the new Peloton cross-training Tread Plus at onepeloton.com.
All right, Locked On Texans Squad show continues. Michael Connor, Wade Smith, and Stan Norfleet with you. Thank you for joining us if you're watching live. If you're watching later on, we appreciate you as well. Make sure you hit subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you can get this on the audio version wherever you get your podcast. You also check out John's daily work. He is at the game today. He said he will try to jump in at some point if he can. But
MC,
yeah,
you got some interference, brother.
Again,
on that, yep.
You guys talk for a second, I swear.
Sorry about that. I know you're talking about John. John is listening to the D'Amico Presser. We may get some John Hickman to join us. Make sure, again, you subscribe and lock in on the Locked On Texans, the daily show there. As we recap, Texans win. Hey, what's the score? 29? What was it? Can't find it.
29.
There you go. You still got interference, MC.
36-29.
So how about people in the chat talking about money meals? Some people talk about, go ahead, CJ, take you another week and get healthy and let Mills drive this thing. I think what MC wanted to get to, Wade, as we come to you, former offensive lineman for the Houston Texans, Wade Smith, and thinking about Nick Caley's play calling. What did you see from Nick Caley today to quiet some of the naysayers like me for at least another week?
I thought he did a much better job of the play calls within the red zone and in the goal line. They were able to convert in those situations, and some of the things they did weren't some of the things they had been doing. They didn't just try to, beat their head up against a wall and try to mash the ball in on guys every time. They had
two fullback dives back to back. We didn't see that today.
Right, you didn't see that today. You saw them converting on short yards and goal line situations, and you saw them converting in the red zone, and that was something that they really struggled with over the past few weeks. And that was a reason why they lost, some of the ball games that they lost, because they couldn't convert in those situations. You couldn't score touchdowns. Instead, you were kicking field goals. And so he didn't really have that happen today. So you have to give Nick Caley a lot of credit for that. I thought Davis Mills did a good job of spreading the ball around. You noticed that throughout the game, there was multiple people open fast, and he was getting the ball to him, and it cost him early in the ball game. He threw the little quick hitch to Christian Kirk, and it got picked off because the DB jumped the route off of a blitz. He knew that, okay, that's the thing about defenses. They realize, all right, this quarterback is a cerebral guy. He's going to do exactly what we dictate him to do. In other words, okay, it's a blitz coming. I'm going to get the ball out hot. I know what the hot's going to be, so I'm going to jump the route. And that's what ended up happening on that play. He was able to overcome that. Like I said, distribute the ball all over the field, multiple guys with 4 or more catches. And so because of that, the offense moved. And so the offense moved, and they handled their end of the bargain. You mentioned it earlier, Stan, like, listen, the defense is playing at a certain level. If the offense can give us something, if the offense can, carry their weight, then this is a team that can win and string together some ball games, string together some wins. And so that's what happened today. Like I said, there was a weird instance of the special team struggling, but they were able to overcome that. And Nick Caley, he bought himself a week of people wanting his head, just a week, because next week, if it looks similar to what it looked like the weeks before, it's going to be the same thing. But he bought himself a week. But I think what he bought himself is confidence in what his guys can do and actually seeing it happen. Because it's one thing to believe it and to think it, but to actually see it actually happen, that's another thing. And so I think that's what happened today, and you got to use that to prepare yourself going forward.
I think Nick Caley did it.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Can you hear me now?
Go ahead, MC. Yeah, you're good.
Do I sound like I'm alive? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, you're good.
Sorry.
I really want to give Nick Caley credit and Wade. I say this a lot. People say, Stan, you always lean on Wade. I was like, because Wade and I are having a conversation that he understands some of the things I'm talking about, the nuances of what's going on in that locker room and the context of what's going on the NFL team. Wade, people will see Davis Mills come off the bench like he had to last week, But what Nick Caley and Gerard Johnson and Bill Lazor and those guys, what they did to get Davis ready to go out there today, I think that's commendable. There's a lot of work and preparation. You have to scale, I don't want to say scale down, but you have to kind of manipulate the playbook for things that Davis is, because Davis and CJ may not be comfortable running the same thing. So you have to find plays and situations that Davis can handle, and you got to get them ready to go in a week's time. So I just want to commend that offensive staff, of course, under DeMeco Ryans' leadership, for giving Davis something that he can handle. He looked to me like he had confidence and that he was in complete control of what they wanted to do from a game plan standpoint. So Nick Caley, hat off to you for that.
Yeah, you got to expect that to be the case, just because from the perspective of Davis Mills has been a starter in this league before. And so, like you said, Stan, they're not going to his playbook is not going to look the same as CJ Stroud's playbook, because they have different strengths and weaknesses. And so them tailoring the offense within what they already do to make sure that they're giving Davis the best plays for him to succeed and for the offense to succeed today, that's their charge. That's what they're supposed to do. And so for them to actually do it and execute it, it gives them confidence in what they can do and what the guys can do. And it gives the guys within the locker room, the guys that are on the field, the offensive line, the receivers, that, hey, we can do this despite if CJ is here or not. And that gives you a shot in the arm. And like I said, those plays that Higgins is making, those plays that Noel is making, that just gives them more confidence, because they're young players. They're going to be called upon going forward to make plays, big time plays and big moments. And Nico Collins is already at that level, but you need more than just Nico. You need more than Dalton Schultz to consistently make plays, Christian Kirk to consistently make plays if you want to go on the run that you're trying to go on. So salute to those guys. Like you said, they put together a good game plan, and they were able to execute it to get it done.
Hey, I just want to say before you go, MC, real quick. How about go ahead? I'm sorry, MC. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say to me, guys, the biggest factor of why things change too is time possession. First half, Jacksonville crushed it, right? Second half, Texans crushed it. And it felt like they finally got to what they needed to be, what they want to be every week, which is control the time. They ended up winning the possession battle today, and they were getting crushed early.
And how did they do that? Because Woody March and Nick Chubb combined for 19 carries. I'd like to see more carries from them, especially when it's a close ball game like that, to make sure you can maintain that time of possession. 19 carries, 110 yards, averaging about 6.5 per carry as a duo on average, and 1 touchdown. The Texans offense works when they can run the ball consistently with a legitimate threat to run the football, and everything else they want to do works off that, which takes us back to the offensive line. I thought the offensive line, I don't know who this Soul dude is, Soul Sal, I don't know where the hell he came from, but some dude was in there. But then I saw Juice Scruggs was in there, left guard a little bit. Patterson was in there, right guard. Trent Brown at right tackle. So again, I come back to what's my man's name? The offensive line coach. We talked about him so much. Popovich. Yeah, Cole Popovich. Congratulations to him and Nick Caley. They had this offense ready to go today.
Does it hurt at all, Stan, that you got to say so many nice things today?
No, it doesn't. I cheer for the Texans. I want the Texans to win. But when they play like some garbage, then we got to say they played like garbage. But today they played well. 4 of 5 in the red zone as far as touchdowns are concerned. That's you're going to win with that. You're going to get busy with that. Defense taking the ball away. We haven't talked about the defense yet. My man, Daniil Cyborg Hunter. Yeah, got busy today. 3.5 sacks, 4 tackles for loss for him. The last play of the game, we saw Will Anderson Jr. showing up. Sheldon Rankins gets the touchdown. So, for how it started and how it ended, I thought the defense adjusted. Matt Burke called a hell of a game. Him and DeMeco tag team in that front. And they look good. And they did enough to get busy today.
Created the turnovers as well. I just want to get one more thing on the offense here, this segment, for me specifically. Third downs again, guys. All of a sudden, this football team, I'll give them this. What's happened on third downs? They were so bad early in the year. Now all of a sudden they're getting them. What's the difference that we're seeing?
I mean, early on in the year, you could tell that they didn't have a lot of trust in some of their receivers. You could tell that they were kind of not on the same page with some of their slot guys. The tight end, you could tell they just weren't on the same page with some of the routes. The pass protection was poor. you were getting issues of pressure fast in guys' face, in quarterbacks' face. And so you can't convert when you're having to deal with pressure issues. You can't convert when your receivers and the quarterback aren't on the same page. I think they're starting to figure things out as far as that goes. The blitz pickup, handling the games, pass protection first and foremost, I think has improved over the past few weeks. And so because of that, you're seeing the third round conversions go up. I think they're trying to make a concerted effort to find Dalton Schultz, to find Nico Collins, find those guys and to get them their best players the opportunity to touch the ball. And then guys like Noel and Higgins, guys are making plays. And so I think that's the biggest thing, is that they have more time to find guys. They're not dealing with the issues to where they're also getting into more third and manageable situations. They're not having to convert 3rd and 12s and 3rd and 15s because no teams usually do good in that situation. So I think all these things are working together to where they're converting more on 3rd down. And then like Stan said a minute ago, or I might have been MC said it. Oh, it's Stan. 4 out of 5 touchdowns in the red zone. It used to be, a couple weeks ago, it was probably the opposite of that. It'd be 1 out of 5. Or last week,
Right.
It was last week. I think it was like 0 out of 5 or whatever it was, because you had 5 field goals in that game against Denver. That's going to lose you a game every time. And so for them to flip that, that's what won them this game. And so, it's all about situational football. Can you score when you need to score when you're in the red zone? Can you convert on 3rd down? Can you get the key stop when you need to get the stop? Can you flip the field on special teams by having a good punt and pinning the guys back? These type of things are what win and lose ball games. And last game, they lost games because they did not. They lost that game because they weren't good situationally. Today, they won the game because they were in the second half of the ball game.
Stan, what do you think about the 3rd down? Yeah.
I think the 3rd down is really, it's about situational football. I think Nick Caley is finding his groove. Now, they came into this game one of the worst 3rd down teams in the league. But today, it was about Nick Caley, the game plan, Davis Mills, and Nick Caley, it got into his groove as a play caller. Wade just said they were able to stay on schedule. They got 3rd and manageable. Now, penalties were still an issue today, but by and large, they were able to climb back into the game because they kept the chains moving. Davis used his legs enough, obviously, with the touchdown scamper right there at the end. But to me, it was about, and as crazy as it sounds, it looked to me like the plan that Caley crafted for Davis Mills, the operation was more fluid than the plan that he has crafted for C.J. Stroud. Clearly, C.J. Stroud's a better player. I'm just saying for whatever reason, that dynamic stood out to me today. It's like Davis was comfortable and they were able to stay on schedule, and it worked.
It worked. And then the defense worked as well. We do need to talk about the defense. We'll do that here in just a brief moment as we continue after the very huge come-from-behind win for the Texans today, 36-29. More here in a moment on the Locked On Texans Squad Show. Before we get back to that Texans discussion, if you're a business owner, here's the truth. SaaS promised to make work easier. But now the average company is buried, I should say, by hundreds of apps that slow down your teams and simply don't work together. It's not SaaS. That's sad. Software as a disservice. That's why you need Rippling. Rippling is the unified platform for global HR, payroll, IT, and finance all in one place. They've helped millions of businesses replace a mess of disconnected tools with one system designed to give leaders clarity, speed, and control. By uniting employees, teams, and departments in one system, Rippling removes the bottlenecks, busy work, and silos your software has created there. Everything from onboarding to payroll to IT issues and access runs automatically, and it's perfectly in sync. Right now, you can get 6 months free when you go to rippling.com/lockedonnfl. Learn more at rippling.com/lockedonnfl. That's rippling.com/lockedonnfl for 6 months free. Terms and conditions apply. Texan Squad Show continues. Michael Connor, Wade Smith, and Stan Norfleet with you. We're breaking down the Texans. This season has had everything, guys. It's had close, bizarre losses. It's had heartbreak just a week ago against Denver. It's had some blowout euphoric moments that you think that this team is going to figure something out, and there they go, and then it has this on top of it. So I'll give them that. If they're doing one thing this year for us, they're putting us on a roller coaster. I'd like to get off of it in a good way, but they're putting us on it.
You never know what you're gonna get. Yeah. Never know what you're gonna get. And let's hope. I mean, think about everything, to your point, MC, everything that we've gone through with the Texans in the 2025 season. They're a week away from being 500.
Yeah.
And still in the hunt in the AFC, believe it or not. Now, they will be tested when you start talking about the Buffalo and the Kansas Cities and all that's coming up. But for right now, if they can take care of
today, by the way, that Buffalo loss mattered today.
Oh, for sure. And like I said, the division at this point is pretty much a wrap. Indy, unless they just fall off the map, they're going to lock that up. So right now, the Texans are competing, and you start talking about these tiebreakers. We got a game with the Chargers at the end of the year. We talk about the Kansas City game coming up. So they need to go ahead and get as much confidence as possible and start getting in a rhythm where they need to rattle off, winning 4 or 5 or 6, those types of things. But you got to do it each and every week. And today, against a competitive Jacksonville team, Davis Mills in the backup. Like I'm not going to stress that. I can't stress that enough, I should say. For a backup, knowing that you were in a kind of a win or go home situation, that's a lot. Like I can't say anything. Of course, I could say some negative things, but to keep it a buck, no, that they need to be acknowledged, and I'll oblige the commentary about how effective they were on offense today. That looks good. That was good football today.
Yeah, I tell you what, man. When you look at the way that the Texans were able to pull this game off, and you look at what happened last week, where you go from winning the game the entire game, you were basically in control of that game the whole game, and then you lose it late because your offense just can't figure out a way to seal the deal and score inside the 2-yard line, and your defense is making plays all over the place, but you can't close that low. That was one of the lowest lows because you lose your quarterback in that ball game. You don't know how long he's going to be out. You had some calls go against you that you thought might have went the other way, and then you go from that low to today. It's a roller coaster, and if you're a fan, some people enjoy that roller coaster. Some people just want, hey, let's go ahead and just blow everybody out. But where's the fun in that? Where's the fun in that? And you want to have that roller coaster.
Hey, I know there's a lot of fun in blowing everybody out to me. They're way less stress. Come on now. I got a bald spot growing on the back of the head. I don't need any more of that.
I tell you what, nothing worth having in life comes easy. I say that to my kids all the time. Nothing worth having in life comes easy. And if it comes easy, you're not going to appreciate it the same way. So, like I said, when the Astros finally won the World Series a few years ago, how many years, like 5-6 years ago, whatever that was, it was euphoria. There were so many times that you got close, and you might have made it to the World Series and lose, or you couldn't get to the World Series and you were bad for a long time, and then now you actually win it. You can't beat that feeling. And so the Texas organization is in a similar place of they've never gotten over the hump, and going through these trials and tribulations. When it finally happens, I don't know when it's going to happen, but when it finally happens, you won't be able to put it into words how great a feeling it is. So nothing worth having in life comes easy, man. These guys are going through it. They're, like I said, we talked about it in the earlier segment. The character that they showed, that's stuff that you can get behind. The fact that they did not give up when everything told you this game is over. You're going to lose to another division opponent. The season is over, basically. Fire this guy, fire that guy. For this week, for the next 6 days, 6-7 days, that talk will be quieted. But the Texans fans want a winner. They want to see this team win big. They've seen what the defense has been able to do. If you can get the offense to play not to that level, but just kind of meet them halfway. Can you meet them halfway? Then this team has a chance. And you look at this NFL, there's no juggernauts. Who's the juggernaut? I don't know. Who's the juggernaut? I don't know.
Everybody's been vulnerable. Yeah.
Everybody's shown that they have weaknesses. Parity is a real thing. And so can you string some games together? Can you put it together and go on a run? And so if you have an opportunity, if you have hope, that's why you want to be. That's why you're a fan. You want to have an opportunity to win and have success. And so the Texans gave themselves another chance, like Stan mentioned earlier, to be relevant for another week.
and they can do that.
Wait.
Like you mentioned. Or go ahead, Stan. Real quick.
I'm sorry, MC. Forgive me.
Good.
I was just sitting here thinking, Wade, we didn't hear about, because obviously the trade deadline is come and gone.
Oh,
We
yeah.
didn't hear your thought on, do you think they should have done something, or you cool with how they played it?
Well, apparently they were trying to get Breece Hall. I thought that would have been a good trade if they could have pulled it off. You look at what happened today, the result of the day, hindsight being 2020, your two running backs rushed for 19 times for 110 yards. So it's not like, this week it hurt them that they didn't have Breece Hall. But I just think you don't know what you're going to get with Joe Mixon. You don't know how long he's going to be out. If there's an opportunity to get a guy like Breece Hall in the fold who's relatively young, that would have been beneficial for the team. Besides that, I don't know really where you would have gone or where you would have looked. I don't know what receivers were available. So you don't want to just do something for the sake of doing something. You want to make sure that the move that you make is going to help this team now and help it in the future. And so apparently they couldn't figure it out. So I wasn't mad at it. I would have loved to have seen that deal made if you would have got a Breece Hall in here. I thought that would have been a good player to acquire. But it didn't work out, and so now they got to move forward with what they got. There's nobody else that's going to be coming off the street that's going to help them.
Oh, maybe it's I'm about to say maybe at some point Joe Mixon returns from the dead, but I don't know.
I mean, he's not on the street; he's in the good. So
I mean, he could be on the street. He's just not at NRG. He could be hanging out on Kirby,
And Joe Mixon was in the club level.
Was he?
Last week, man. Yeah, he's still around. He's in the building, baby, and hopefully, he can be on the field.
How'd he look? How was he walking, Wade? Come on, give us the insight here. You saw
him. He did not have on a boot.
Yeah, he's walking normal. But walking and playing football at an elite level is like two totally different things. So, when he's ready to go, he'll be ready to go. But he's not out there, so he ain't ready to go.
Be nice to have. What's nice to have is when the defense when they do their things. So let's talk a little bit about the defense. Did you guys get the vibe like I did early? Now look, that first half it went for as poorly as it could go. I mean, like everything was going in the wrong direction, from special teams to penalties to everything. I felt like watching it that they were at their breaking point. Like so much pressure on them to constantly be perfect, and they weren't getting any help early in the football game at all. And I just kind of felt like, okay, this is the moment where we start to see them break and they start to, make mistakes here and there. Did you guys get any of that vibe early on?
Well, you got to think about it. They threw the interception was thrown and they held them to a field goal on that drive, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what they do. So I don't think that was just abnormal from that perspective of that, like, this is something we're going above and beyond at this point. Hey, they turn the ball over. When they turn the ball over, you have to play situational football and hold them to a kick. And that's exactly what they did. And that's the caliber of defense that they are. The Texans offense continued to struggle after that. And you're saying to yourself, like, hey, we got to figure this out sooner or later, because every time that they're scoring and this league is larger and larger, the offense has not shown that it has the ability to make up ground the way that they were able to eventually show today. I didn't see anything on the field or notice anything to where you said to yourself, all right, the defense is starting to point fingers, but the defense was put into some bad spots by the special teams and by the offense early in the ball game, and they did their best to try to stem the tide. But after a while, there were some plays that Jacksonville made. They made some plays. They got some penalties called. There were some things that were going on that you said to yourself, all right, defensively, there were plays that the defense needed to make. Tackles, when Etienne scored his touchdown, he broke 2 tackles to do that. When you're a defensive player and that happens, you can't be pointing a finger at anybody. Hey, make the damn tackle, and then they don't score it. They have to kick another field goal. So, when you're not perfect, it's very difficult for you to point the finger at anybody else. And early in the ballgame, even though they played well, they weren't perfect. And so I know externally people probably was feeling that, but I think internally, anytime that you're not playing a perfect ball game, it's very difficult for you to point this finger at somebody else. And we mentioned it earlier. I think I was talking about this earlier today, but the Cincinnati Bengals players got pissed off at the defense because the Cincinnati Bengals, I think, scored 45 points or whatever it was last week. And they couldn't win the game because the defense couldn't get a stop. When you score 45 points in a game or 42 points in a game, whatever it was, that's basically offensively you playing a perfect game. And so at that point, you do get frustrated. Like, hey, just get a stop so we can get this W. The defense hadn't been at that point yet. They've had opportunities to make plays, to win ball games. There's been late drives that they weren't able to convert on defense to win the game. So when that's happening, it's very difficult for you to be pointing the finger when you know there's opportunities for yourself to be better. And so I don't think it got to that breaking point, but I do understand why people might feel like that watching the game, because the special teams is playing bad early in the ball game, and the offense is not. They're turning the ball over and playing bad as well.
I think from a defensive standpoint, not being in the building, just, observation, MC, I did feel a little bit like you. I think there have been certain points where the defense is like, man, like to wait, like trying to play a perfect game out here. No matter how you slice it, the defense gave this team a chance, but DeMeco's going to go in there and cut on the tape tomorrow, and DeMeco's going to show a defense that gave up 29 points. You give up 29 points in National Football League, you're not going to win a lot of ball games.
22, right? Because there was the special teams touchdown. So, but see, I get you. It's still a lot of points.
Most of the guys on defense play special teams. So
yeah.
That part.
Sometimes they get grouped together. But yeah.
So you're going to see DeMeco's going to go in there and put on that tape and go defense. I understand we won. I understand y'all the number one defense in the league in terms of points allowed, but these are the things that can get us beat when it's money time should we make the postseason. So I think DeMeco has to continue to dangle that carrot in front of the defense. Some people, there are some business practices out there. You make your strengths stronger. And so he has to continue to coach that defense up and coach them hard while this offense gets their legs up under them and continues to be better. So the defense, there are some missed tackles in there. I was glad that I was glad that Daniil Hunter, he had one of those games to get paid like he's been getting paid. You know what you're going to get for Will Anderson Jr. I thought Azeez Al-Shire was solid in there today as well. And then we know that Stingley hasn't been his normal self back there. Stingley has had moments where whether he just flat out gets beat or he's been stumbling a little bit. So I don't know if he's battling through an injury or not, but he hasn't been the lockdown Sting that we all know him to be. But they picked him up. And quite frankly, when MJ Stewart goes out the game, and we'll see what they want to do from a secondary standpoint, when MJ Stewart goes out the game, I'm like, all right, what does this mean for Bullock? What does this mean for Lassiter? That they were missing some guys on defense today. And so, Petrie was out today. So I was like, now that MJ Stewart is out, I'm like, will we see Jimmy Ward? Don't know. But I really respect what they did on defense today. And I thought it was a good effort. It just wasn't perfect, right? They still had 22 points, as you said, MC hung on them.
Yeah.
Hey, the pick by Stingley, though,
filthy.
That was like, okay, this is why he got drafted. Was it number 3?
I think it's third overall.
Yeah,
I think it's third overall.
Because of plays like that. You one-hand
the one-handed, yeah.
That was pretty. That was nice.
And not just a one-hand snag to undercut the route. He ran the route and got up under old boy. Yeah.
That's like one of them plays that you say, okay, not everybody can make that play.
Yeah, that's different.
Some guys can be in position to make the tackle on a play like that, but they're not going to be in position to undercut the route and catch it, snag it one hand, bring it in a critical situation like that. That was a hell of a play by Sting. It made up for a couple of things that happened earlier in the ball game.
Coaches teach the technique. I'm a nerd out for a little bit. Wade is going to feel me what I'm going to say. So when you undercut the route, MC, some guys, you hear the coaches say, if you're going to undercut it and you're going to go for the one hand, you better catch the football because you have a greater likelihood when you reach with the long arm, the ball can hit the back of your arm or your shoulder or your back. So if you're going to go this way, it looks good for the fans and it's cute, but you better come down with the football and Stingley did. Just a little football one-on-one for some folks. Probably more like 2.
That was fair. You know what? Also, he caught that ball off of, and you guys now like Wade. You hate the Jags and the Titans. I hate them too, but there might not be anybody that makes me want to. I'm not gonna maybe punch him in the nose than Trevor Lawrence, and I don't know why. He is the biggest fraud in the sport, and they made him look like a fraud again today.
Who's the bigger fraud?
He tends to look like a fraud against the Texans.
Who's a bigger fraud, Trevor Lawrence or Justin Herbert? Which one do you call
Lawrence
for sure.
Lawrence, yeah.
Lawrence for sure.
Herbert's a fraud, but he can at least still win some games.
Herbert, a lot of times you find himself in the up there in the passing leaders and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He puts up numbers. He just doesn't win the big game, quote unquote. But Trevor Lawrence, man, fraud, 100%. And I say fraud from the regard of the way that they paid him, the way that they, based off of what he was supposed to be coming into this league, he has not lived up to that one bit. Is he a starting quarterback in this league? Yes, he is. Is he a guy that I look forward to my team to play against? Yes, he is. And so take with that what you will.
Yeah.
I think Trevor Lawrence, people gonna be mad at me when I say this. I know we got to go to break, MC. Trevor Lawrence is to Jacksonville what Stroud is to Houston. You have to ask yourself in this sense, can I find better? The Texans are probably not getting a quarterback better than CJ, and Jacksonville is probably not getting a quarterback better than Trevor Lawrence.
They can find better than that.
I don't think so.
Go to the draft and draft somebody.
Most first-round quarterbacks are busts at quarterback.
Yeah, he's one of them.
Ooh, a bust?
I mean, he's the first pick of the draft. I mean, this guy got God treatment. We literally talked about him like he was Peyton Manning. Like people talk about him like he's going to be the next Peyton Manning coming out of Clemson.
Everybody used the term generational. He has not been generational.
That was what they put that moniker on him, and he hasn't been up anywhere near close to it. So he hadn't even really had flashes of it.
They had to pay him. There was no other option. You were not. That's why Jerry keeps paying Dak Prescott. When you get a dude in the building that's solid,
compared to Trevor Lawrence.
Dak is a much better quarterback than Trevor Lawrence. I don't want to
listen. I'm not saying the same guy. What I'm saying is the situation. When you're a franchise and you get a guy in the building and the guy can hold it down, you hold on to that. It's hard. Some of my boys, now I'm single too, but some of my single homies, they date these ladies, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna leave her to go get a badder joint on Instagram. I'm like, bro, sometimes you hurt yourself trying to do better than good. You already got a good woman. Just hold on right there.
I didn't realize you was the voice of reason when it comes to your single buddies about keeping.
Relationship. That's Well, I was on Alameda last night. A time was had.
Oh man,
I saw Andre too. What up, Andre?
Let's get our last time out in, and we actually look like we're gonna have a special guest for the final segment if his phone connection works there. We'll get to that here in a brief moment. Locked On Texans Squad Show. NBA season is back. The Rockets are playing this afternoon. And there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of a game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score to the next fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Saw that today. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, our squad show continues, and it looks like we have John Hickman from the sideline at NRG Stadium. Hey, John, how was it? What's the mood there at NRG?
What's up, guys? Listen, y'all hear me? Am I good? Am I live?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
The NRG Stadium, I saw fans leaving the stadium at one point during the third quarter, and the NRG Stadium was louder at half capacity than it was whatever capacity it was before fans left out. This was one of the most historic regular season victories, comeback wins for Houston. I thought the offensive line cleaned up on some things and they played phenomenal. They got the run game going. The best running performance in terms of yards per carry, I believe, on the year. Nico Collins was the focal point. But all in all, I think a masterclass second half performance from not only Davis Mills, but as much crap as we've given Nick Haley. I thought he called the game, especially in those last couple of drives, to perfection. I'm just excited that I was able to witness this. Stan, The rookies are the day stand.
Rookies played well today. Hey, fine. Listen, I said Nick Caleb. There's Jalen Noel. You might want to get him the football. He's an explosive player. Woody March running the ball. Ariante Ursery didn't get dominated by Josh Hines Allen. Young guys out there. You got Higgins making some noise, getting in some. Like, it worked today. It looked good today. I'm happy for him.
It worked today, and I think the sideline was emotional.
Oh,
Did we lose John?
Oh.
Oh,
The players. No, am I still here?
yeah,
There you go. We got you real quick.
I had the opportunity to speak to a few of the players, and the messaging was consistent. This is how we can play and look when we play and execute our game plan. Even asked a few players about, D'Amico Ryan. They spoke highly of D'Amico Ryan. They spoke highly of how the offensive line plays today. Is this the start of something special? I don't know. I think that may be premature. But they were able to play a team that didn't have as many injuries as they had. So the excuses of a better team or not, they were able to come out there and get a victory, the first one-score victory of the season. What better way to do it than to Sheldon Rankins walk-off touchdown? I thought today was phenomenal, and it could be something special. We could be overblowing it. I'm not sure what you guys have talked about, but at the very least, we got to live in the moment. And the moment says this is a 4-5 team that has their playoff hopes alive.
Playoff hopes are alive. Real quick, John, because it's just you're there. The noise is a little bit much, so we'll get you out of here on this one. What did D'Amico have to say? What was his mood in the press conference as well?
If I could read body language, it seemed to be a sigh of relief. We got it done. We won a game against a better opponent. But D'Amico's message is the message after every loss of victory. If it's a loss, we didn't execute better. If it's a victory, this is how we can win games when we execute. So I think he's been very consistent in that, and he continued to echo it out today.
Well, John, thank you for popping in, saying hi. We missed you. We'll see you Tuesday, and we'll have
the energy right now from the NRG Stadium is great. It's about 80 people still in here, and the energy is still pumping and rocking.
Go run in the middle of the field.
You know what? I'll go right into the middle of the field. I'm gonna do it. This is what we do on Locked On.
Already.
Going right in the middle of the field. I mean, we've had
John.
Stan and John were here last year. I mean, Wade literally did the show one day, and we got a special guest appearance from Arian Foster in the middle of it. So we do things big here on the show. All right, John. Good job.
All right, Hickman. We'll catch you, brother.
We'll see you. There's John Hickman. All right, guys. Our final few minutes here. Can they ride this momentum from today and really start to turn this season around? I guess is kind of where I want to finish at.
I think they can. I think, you have another division opponent coming in next week. It's another opportunity for you to get right. You talk about get right games where you can gain confidence and work on some of the things that you've struggled with throughout the year. It's an opponent that is not going to stress you and test you in the ways that maybe if you were playing a much better team would, and it makes it more difficult for you to do. And the worst thing that you can do is give a team that's young or a team that's lacking confidence, give them an opportunity to start to build it, because belief is the most powerful thing that you can have in life and definitely in sports. If you believe that you can get it done, then the chances of you actually getting it done goes up exponentially. And so the Titans are the perfect opponent to come in here. It's another AFC opponent, another division opponent. They play, if they can get the Texans to play well, put a complete game together between all three phases, now you feel really good matching up against the Buffalo Bills. And so, Buffalo Bills, they lost today. Who knows what'll happen to them next week, but who knows what type of mindset they'll be coming in here on a Thursday night ball game where they're having to travel. I tell you what, man, like hold on, am I right about that? Is that just
Thursday night? Yeah.
Thursday night. Okay. So, that's what you want to see is like, hey, can the Texans take that and use that against that team going forward against the Buffalo Bills? First things first, build that confidence even further on this next game against the Titans, and then let that springboard you going forward for the rest of the year, because the Texans are going to have to win. They're going to have to string together victories to get into the playoffs. It's not going to be a win a game, lose a game, win 2 games, lose a game. No, they're going to have to string together some victories in order for it to happen. And so this is a perfect opportunity to start that streak and get that second win and then get you ready going into Buffalo.
Can they do it, Stan? Can they ride this momentum?
I think they can certainly build a momentum. You're going to play one of the worst teams in the league next week, a division opponent. You can't play with your food in the NFL, though. You get caught looking ahead and trying to prepare for Buffalo and all that conversation. My brother Keith Goffney is over there in the comments saying the same thing. He said he's not worried about the Bills yet. Just take care of the Titans first. I agree with that. Still National Football League, still a lot of talented men out there getting paid a lot of money to go compete at the highest level. So you must make sure that you respect the game and respect the process week to week in the league. That being said, what does it mean to go out there and get a win at NRG next Sunday afternoon at noon? That would mean that the Texans have won 3 of their last 4 games. So I'm just saying, if they match their offensive output that they gave Tennessee the first time around, they scored 26 points in a victory over the Titans. So if you would, let's just say you match that, that's 26 next. That'd be 26 next week, 36 points this week. You put up 26 versus San Francisco. Now this offense starts to get in some momentum and get some rhythm, because you're going to need points. Because when the weather gets ready to turn and it's a little chilly in H-Town today, you start getting in December and you start talking about January football, the ball is not going to be flying around like that. You're going to have to ground and pound. You're going to have to grind out points. And it's good to go ahead and get in those habits now. You want to be playing your best ball coming into Thanksgiving and into December.
Yeah, like good news on weather. They only have 1 game in a place that looks like it'll be cold, and that's Kansas City. Yeah, but the gauntlet is ahead. There's no doubt about it. I think looking at this Tennessee game, this is me being selfish. You need to blow them out in the first half so you can rest guys in the second half so you can be ready for Thursday's game. I think that'd be the most ideal world, is to not play guys all 4 quarters against Tennessee. But you got Tennessee, and then home for Buffalo, and then it's at Indy and at Kansas City, followed by home for Arizona, the Raiders, at the Chargers, and the Colts to finish the season.
That stretch right there, that Buffalo, Indy, Kansas City, that's the season right there. What happened in those 3 is going to determine what happens the rest of the way.
You need 2.
And 2 of them are
you got to take 2 of those 3. Yep.
You got to take 2 out of 3.
Yep. And 2 on the road. Yeah. And if they could do that, honestly, I think they'll find their way into the back end of the wild card at that point.
They're still in the hunt.
Again, this season, man. One week I'm sitting here talking about the playoffs like they're going to be in, and the next week I'm like, they're dead. Kill them. Let's play for draft picks. Like, come on, man.
Well, listen, let's be clear, and I'm not going to do it today. I'll do it on Tuesday. It's still some things that need to be addressed. It's still some people that need to be held accountable, but we're in the middle of celebrating the victory, so we're going to do that today. Tuesday, I'll be back on my normal mojo.
All right, you guys give your final thoughts on this one and moving forward, and we'll say goodbye. Wade?
Once again, it was an amazing victory by the Houston Texans. The fact that they were down so much, so late in the ball game, and for them to have
19 points.
19 points to rely on their offense to make the plays to come back and win it. Of course, the defense did what they normally do, was getting off the field. For them to be able to do that, and then, like I said, the 93-yard drive to win the game, that was storybook stuff. And so
Davis Mills runs the ball to win the game.
Davis Mills, 14 yards after 2 penalties. When you were scored on the first play, like you can't write that up. That was just an amazing job of guys figuring out ways to make plays and to get it done. And that's what they did. They got it done. They got a couple of penalties in their favor. I ain't mad at it. Whatever it takes to get it done, you figure out a way to get it done.
Wait, on that point right there, if Jacksonville has the return, right, then Trevor Lawrence scrambles a little bit to get yardage, I believe. If they don't get a hands to the face, Jacksonville's kicker, they needed like another 4 yards, and Jacksonville's kicker could have got in there for a chance to have a game winner. A penalty on Jacksonville, hands to the face, is what ended up maybe causing them to lose that ball game. That's just life in the NFL, man. It just hangs in the balance. Yeah. 6 inches this way, 6 inches that way.
And this post-game show goes completely differently.
Completely different.
Everything is different. That's the crazy part about sports. That's why it's such an addictive thing to be a part of and to watch and participate in, because the margin of error, the margin between victory and defeat is so tiny.
It is.
And you feel like there's always a chance. And so the Texans were able to get it done, and I'm happy for them. I'm happy for the organization. It's a big win for the Texans. Now I got to put it together next week to get you back to 500.
Sorry, there's just some yelling at children going on in my house.
Yeah, I know. Y'all got a lot going on over there. Listen, for me, I think my parting shot would be just want to applaud the defense. Yes, they gave up 29 points to Jacksonville. Like, granted, special teams, whatever. But I think the effort of Danielle Hunter, Will Anderson Jr. being active, Azeez Al-Shire with no Jalen Petrie out there, the interception by All-Pro Sting. Like, the defense, they play great ball, man. And when you talk about limiting Travis Etienne to 58 yards on 16 carries, yes, he had the rushing touchdown. Granted, 13 yards, that's fine. But to hold Travis to 3.6 yards per carry, to hold Trevor Lawrence to just 158 yards passing, the defense had 2 takeaways again today. That's every week they're taking the ball away. It happens so frequently, we just take it for granted. So, I just think it should be commendable. When you talk about receiving, the Jaguars' leading receiver was Jacoby Myers, who they acquired from the Vegas Raiders. Jacoby only had 41 yards receiving on 3 catches. They limited the defense. Even though they gave up some points, they still limited the explosives. And if it weren't for special teams, I think we'll be celebrating this defense even more. And what better way to capitalize it, or put a caption on it, I should say, and punctuate it than the Sheldon Rankins touchdown there at the end off the Will Anderson Jr. strip sack. Can't hear you, Mike. You muted.
My bad. We get to celebrate a big man scoring a touchdown. Who doesn't love watching
big man balling?
Absolutely love it. All right, we'll be back on Tuesday in the Locked On Texans Squad show. Between now and then, make sure that you're getting subscribed to this channel. You watch John for the daily show as well. Wade will be back with us next weekend as we break down the easy victory they're going to have over the Titans. You guys have a great rest of your Sunday. We'll talk to you Tuesday night on the Locked On Texans Squad show.